Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm your host, Drick, and joining me equally, as always, is Devon.
Well, now, I should come up with some great greeting, but I think, if it's okay with you, Rick, can I share one of my favourite quotes from Dragon Age Inquisition?
Let's do.
It's from the judging segment.
Okay.
I love this so much. I call for rehabilitation. The skull shall do public theatre about the evils of evil. I also judge the box. End table for orphans.
Yep. Yeah, I also judge the box as my favorite intonation, because when I had the male British one, and he just goes in the really sarcastic one, I also judge the box.
Yeah, I mean, fun fact, because of the way I play games, I've always had the British dude's voice. Except for when I did a Kunari that one time, because the American gruffer, deeper tones suits it more, in my opinion.
Sure, I feel you.
Yeah.
I had the male British and female American.
Isn't female American just Hawk again?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But if that's not tipped you off slightly, we're talking about Dragon Age 3 today, which you might also be able to see if you're on YouTube and watching live. But before we get too deep into that, let's get on to our time-honored tradition of the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. And do you have one for me today?
You have to pick a thematic appropriate character from any other franchise to dump into Dragon Age. Whose adventure would you most want to see?
Ooh.
I've got a good one this week.
Yeah. So, a thematically appropriate person to dump into Dragon Age.
So basically, I only say that because, like, oh, let's bring in fucking Darth Vader, and it's like, that's not going to be fun or interesting or make any sense.
Although, that said, a young Anakin Skywalker dropped into the Mage Tower wouldn't actually be that bad.
No, that's not thematically appropriate. I mean, I basically want to say that, I mean, someone from another fantasy franchise, not sci-fi and space and... Blah.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It would probably have to be a fantasy franchise that doesn't have a lot of magic at all. So, like, if you're talking about, like, D&D, a lot of them just wouldn't work because magic is so prevalent in D&D, whereas in Thedas, it's really not. So,
I mean, you wouldn't know it from playing the games.
Okay, yeah, no, you
know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the top 1% are responsible for 95% of the problems, and that includes being mages. So, I would probably have to say someone from Lord of the Rings.
God damn it, we are doing low-hanging fruit once again.
Well, it has to be, but I would say...
It doesn't have to be. There's plenty of franchises to choose from.
Okay, but I can't think of any other incredibly low magic franchise. Okay, Lord of the Rings isn't super low magic, but it's not available to anyone who's basically not an angel.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. The Valar are kind of angelic and godly. I might be getting that mixed up. I think the Valar are literally gods.
Yeah, I think it's Valar are the gods, Maiar are the angels, and that's what, like, the Morgoth
the wizards, like the wizards are as well, aren't they? Like the grey wizards and the blue wizards, who are doing I don't know what during Lord of the Rings, but they ain't around.
Yeah. Yeah, the brown wizards with good old Radagast.
The only brown wizard I know of is Radagast, and he's just like he is like Gandalf if Gandalf pumped up his fucking smoking habit.
Gandalf the Stoned.
I don't like in the Hobbit films when they have Radagast, he's got that long line of fucking bird shit on his head. It's really...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know why they did him dirty like that.
No. Here's the thing. A lot of the people in Lord of the Rings actually have their own story arcs.
I mean, everyone in the Fellowship does.
Yeah. So, if you're isekaiing someone...
That's what we're doing.
I'd isekai Boromir after he dies.
Oh, right, so you're like, instead of Truck-kun, it's getting whittled by a volley of arrows.
Yeah.
God damn, his death scene is so more epic in the book.
Yeah, and since he knows how to... Well, he knows the dangers of a powerful artifact or powerful something magical twisting the minds of otherwise good men. He's probably going to be a very good candidate for, if not Templars, then something like the Inquisition.
I think the problem with any character from Lord of the Rings is they are too bullshit OP for this world.
Yeah.
The thing with Boromir is he's not, technically speaking, he's nothing special. I'm using air quotes for people listening, but
Yeah.
he is the pinnacle of pinnacle warriors, and he's a leader as well. Like, he led the defense of Osgiliath.
Yeah.
Like, he could be any leadership role and dominate, especially on a battlefield.
Yeah. Like Faramir is also a pretty good one for that, even though he's literally the second banana to Boromir.
I mean, Faramir's great. One of the reasons why no one sees his quality, haha, funny meme, is because Denethor has always put Boromir on a pedestal.
Yeah.
Also, you've also got to bear in mind, Denethor is insane by the time we meet him.
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
A lot of people tend to gloss over that, and I'm not sure why, because they make it apparent. Again, I've read select passages from the book because I get bored and distracted very easily, and Tolkien's writing style does not gel with me. It's not to say he's not a great writer. That would be an insane thing to say, but you get me. And
true. I feel you.
And
it's very dry reading.
It is. I'm not even going to admit how far I got because it's embarrassing. But in the film, if you don't immediately recognize that Denethor is insane, I don't think you're watching properly.
No. Like, anybody who invites someone into their room and keeps eating the way that Denethor eats is basically Jabba the Hutt.
It's like, you now owe me a life debt. While I've sent my son to death, dance and sing for me, little hobbit. Dance and sing!
Yeah.
Also, anyone who eats a tomato like that is a psychopath.
Absolutely. Like, I actually think Jabba the Hutt has better table manners.
Potentially. Well, bear in mind, the only person watching Denethor at the time is Pippin, and, like, I don't... Denethor barely knows what a hobbit is, so...
Yeah. Probably just thinks he's a midget.
Wow. But I'd love to see Boromir fucking kicking the door down and taking names in Thedas.
Yeah. But my one for you is similar to one that you shot at me before in other franchises. You personally get isekai'd as yourself with your own skill set. What country do you go to? What role do you try and take up?
What country do I go to?
Oh, yeah. You can go to wherever you like.
Wait, you mean specifically in Thedas, or?
Yeah, totally.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, Ferelden, because it's just England anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Anyway, like, I'm common as shit, and I don't tend to hide that fact because it's effort. And commoners in Thedas do not get treated well.
No, they don't.
At best.
However,
Gone.
You are pretty experienced at shoveling dog shit.
Okay. I see what you're throwing down.
And that is the specialty of Thedas. They not Thedas, of Ferelden. They do have their Mabari going for them.
The problem is, even if you go to Ferelden, the best you can hope for as a common as shit person, which is what I am, is to get enlisted in the army and die in combat.
Well, that or get lucky gambling and then be able to make yourself as a merchant.
That's going to take a lot of luck. Chances are you lose a fucking bet to some Antivan slavers.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, but then you might get to meet Isabella because she hates slaves. Or slavers.
I don't know, man. Because assuming it's just me, I ain't that great. And I'm not that well versed in the knowledge of the world in Thedas, so I can't abuse things.
Sure, I feel you.
Yeah. Run to the Chantry and hope they take pity on me, and I end up becoming a Templar and losing my mind.
Well, you might just end up becoming a brother of the Chantry.
That's even worse. I don't get the benefits of being able to slaughter apostates.
Apostate prostitutes. Prostitutes.
Oh, Jesus. But I mean, at least if you're a Templar, you effectively get trained well enough to actually look after yourself. Whereas brothers, it's just like, oh, shit hits... We see it in Inquisition within like 2 minutes. Brothers are just like, as soon as shit hit the fans, we should run away. That's your options.
Yeah, your option is run away. Your slightly more noble option is round up the townspeople and get them to run away as well.
Also, chastity kind of sucks.
Well, how many of them actually stick to it?
I don't know. They seem to be fairly honest in Ferelden, at least, not like the real world.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's dark.
Oh, I'm not pointing my hands at any particular religion because they all fucking do it.
Yeah. Yeah, they do.
Shall we move on?
So yeah, we're talking about Dragon Age 3, the Dragon Age 3 of the Dragon Age series.
I don't think anyone's ever called it. I know it is the third one of the franchise, but it is actually called Inquisition.
Yeah, it's called Inquisition. Yeah. It tries to be the Mass Effect 2 of Dragon Age by having loads and loads of companions, and tries to make them all at least somewhat likable. Even the ones that are a piece of shit, it makes their stories interesting.
Yeah,
And
I don't think there's any companions in this game that I dislike. I mean, there's some I don't get on with because their ideals are fucked, but they're interesting characters.
Yeah. Like, the idea is that even if you don't like them as a character, or if your player character doesn't get on with them, then at least you can love to hate them, because they generally stay true to their ideals.
I think... Oh, go on.
I think there's only one of them that actually flip-flops.
Go on.
And that's because he's not the person that he is.
Oh, we talked about Bull?
Yeah. Well, there's actually, yeah, two then. There's Bull and there's Blackwall.
Oh, yeah, Blackwall. I don't know, man. Blackwall seems to have adopted those ideals, even though he didn't start with them. Like, when he's putting on the mask of Blackwall, he does seem, especially when he's found out, that he is trying to at least live to those ideals. He doesn't succeed, obviously, but shall we just go through the characters one by one? That seems like a good way to do this.
Yep. Joining us this time are Varric, yay. Cassandra, yay, I guess, finally. Solus the Egg.
Oh, when I said that, I thought we were going to go in depth on each character as we said them, and then you moved straight on. So,
okay.
Do you want to start with Varric?
Yeah, we start with Varric. Varric joins us right at the beginning. We get a little gimme party that's Varric, Cassandra, and Solus.
Yeah, and this way, it doesn't matter what class you decide to pick, you will always have at least one of everyone.
Yeah, you got all your bases covered, so you don't matter, but they let you they let you interact with the world a little bit. I think there's a little bit with Varric where he'll start ribbing you, and that gives you the tutorial on being able to respond to things in real time.
Yeah, that was a bit different.
Yeah, he asked me if I was a Canary, and I'm like, I mean,
got the horns, don't I?
And but I didn't say it quick enough, and he went, "Oh, the strong and silent type." Fair enough.
Yeah, I was. I remember during the Human Noble one, he straight up just goes, "Oh, you're from such and such," and you're like, "How did you know that?" It's like, I got an ear for these things. I'm from Kirkwall myself, as if we don't fucking know that as a player.
Yeah, Varric is a very fun guy to have around, as we found out throughout the entirety of Dragon Age 2. Whereas he was both the narrator and one of the best characters to have around for banter. And this continues, except he's not quite the narrator this time.
Yeah, he really does a wonderful job of where everyone else has moments where they become a piece of shit. Even when you have arguments with Varric, he still talks to you civilly.
Yeah. Like, at the worst, he's like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah, but even then, he does that with Cassandra, of all people.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair...
Like, they know each other a lot better than either of the... Well, they know each other better than our player character knows them. Because they've had that much more time with each other. Varric's essentially been press-ganged into, like, continuing the adventure by Cassandra, and I think he's technically given the choice, except when he says, "Do I actually have a choice?" Cassandra says yes, and he goes, "Really, really?" and she goes, "No."
Which is interesting, because when you first meet him for that initial party, Cassandra straight up tells him to fuck off because it's not his fight.
Yeah. It's one of those where he also knows that it's kind of the right thing to do. Like, he's been in these world-altering situations before. He knows what's brewing. He knows that it's the beginning of a new story. He basically wants in on the ground level because he can't trust whoever would take his place, basically. From a narrative standpoint, he's written fiction before. He knows how this shit goes.
And the funny thing is Varric tends to actually, like, apart from Cassandra, because, you know, soft spot, the starting party tends to get replaced real quick.
Yeah. Like, at least Varric this time, like, he's the only one who can ever use a crossbow this time. Like, I think a player character could use a crossbow in 2.
No, player character.
Could they not?
Anyone could use a crossbow in 1, but in 2 they just kind of got rid of
Right.
it. And also,
Yeah,
Varric's crossbow has always been different from those crossbows. Varric's has always been like automatic. Don't ask me how the fuck that works.
Yeah.
But
Pump action crossbow.
yeah. Bianca is a wizard. She must be the first dwarven mage. Sorry, what's her name? Dronka? What the fuck's her name? The one we say that we help in Origins and then comes back in 3 as our runesmith.
Oh, I think it's Briala, is it?
Doesn't sound right, but I'm not going to argue.
No, that doesn't sound right. She's the one that's she's the one that's really cute. Anyway, she goes down and
if you don't romance Sarah, then it's implied that they get together.
yeah. Sarah likes dwarves. They're squishy.
I want to say it's Drunker, but that sounds wrong as well. God damn.
We're both ramming our head against the brick wall for the name of a side character who, yeah, she helps, and she helps you like attach runes or whatever, or like craft with different materials. But other than that, she's not really that important.
Yeah, except every time you walk into the fucking smith upgrade room, her and the blacksmith are having a discussion, and it's usually the blacksmith saying, "Are you sure that's safe?" Followed by Dwarf Girl going, it's only blown up like 3 times.
Yeah.
Stupid shit like that, man. You fucking You fucking continue talking. I've got something to look up.
But yeah, Varric is normally reasonably neutral in things, as best as he can be.
Except for when it comes to Red Lyrium.
Yeah, absolutely. He's seen the worst of what Red Lyrium can do. That it buggered up his brother. He doesn't want it to do the same to anyone else. And he really doesn't want people abusing it for a little bit of power, which is what the Templars seem to be doing at the moment. Well, some Templars. I generally side with the mages for the initial conflict, so I see a lot more of Red Templars than I do of insane mages all hepped up on red crack. But there is that.
Yeah, I get you, man. But the first time I played, I got I went to help the Templars.
Sure.
So yeah. Oh, fuck's sake! This entire wiki.
I think now is a good time to talk about the early plot, actually, because the other characters are going to be mired in that. Dagna, okay. Yeah, there we are. Dagna the little dwarf.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. I still think we should run down the party members first.
Yeah, okay. So we got. I think that's pretty much enough about Varric until we come back to him anyway, just organically.
Yeah.
Cassandra, like we say, finally we get Cassandra as playable.
She's the best romance option. Fight me.
She's a super Templar.
Yeah, she is she's a seeker of truth, isn't she?
Yeah, she's a seeker. They get all of the benefits of being a Templar without the crutch of having to like imbibe lyrium and be addicted to it.
I mean, it's even a massive plot point later on where they find out in the book of whatever the fuck. We go to find it, and what happens for them to become a seeker is they basically get made tranquil and then cure it.
Yeah.
And
so
it makes a massive shitstorm in that Cassandra's like, we need to tell people about this, but how much backlash are we going to get when we say this and reveal we could have reversed tranquilizing the right of
tranquility, yeah, all this time,
yeah.
It's a real, like you say, it's a bit of a shitstorm either way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she's a very good romance option because she doesn't know how to be romanced, and it's really cute.
I mean, she does, but her idea of romanticism is basically erotica.
Yeah.
So much so, if you're a romancer, you've got to go find a romantic book. You've got to go find apples and candles, and it works. She fucking swoons, but she's also like, this is really silly. Why did I think this would be a good idea? We're gonna fuck now.
And then you're just lying on the grass and she's got her tits out. It's great.
Okay.
What else is good about the Cassandra story?
You find out about her protege.
Yeah, you do.
And also she reveals that she had a romantic relationship with a mage.
Okay. I forgot about that.
I think so, anyway. She revealed a romantic link in the past, and I'm 95% sure it was a mage.
Sure. I like the little bit where Iron Ball asks her about something that was covered in a crossover novel or whatever about. So I heard you beat up a dragon, and she's like, "Yes." And then Iron Ball goes, "Cool, and she goes, "What? Don't you want to prod and poke about it?" And he's like, "Nah, you obviously don't want to talk about it, but you look cool doing it though." And she goes, "Yeah."
And then we slay 10.
Yeah, we do. And Iron Bull gives us his I forget the actual word, what the actual word is, but it's
Atashi.
I will think about this moment in the future with great respect, while bringing myself sexual pleasure.
How can so many words be one word, man?
Yeah. Well, it's like Rafanidoto, the ancient Greek punishment for adultery, which was to stick a radish up someone else's bottom.
Yeah, but that's different. Like, we say execution, but that means many different things. Cutting someone's head off, putting them on an electric chair, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, but one word to stick a radish up someone else's arse.
Who wants to say those words in that order?
I mean, apparently the Greeks, because that was the traditional punishment.
But they didn't. They made a word for it instead.
I mean, okay. But it's still, it means the thing. They're still saying the thing. It's just the fact that they had one word.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just... Who wants to say those words in that order, specifically? That's a lot of things to say. For something that is hyper-specialised and probably didn't happen all that often.
I mean, it was a punishment for adultery. Like, it happened quite a lot.
Yeah, in ancient Greece, where they didn't give a shit about that sort of thing. What they're actually doing is they're punishing you for something else, but they're using adultery as an excuse because every fucker did it.
Yeah. The alternative punishment included a carrot and hot ashes to stop the bleeding.
I imagine a carrot would be easier than a radish.
It's easier to get in to a certain degree, but then it goes deeper.
I get it would go deeper, but like, oh, this is going to be a fucking stupid thing to say. Human assholes are surprisingly tolerant, as it were.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's easier for them to take more in length than it is in girth.
Yeah, totally.
I think. I'm not an expert.
Like, literally, think of the amount of shit they go through on a daily basis. Yeah.
Great. No, I'd rather not. Oh, we're what, 20 minutes in, and we're fucking talking about shoving carrots up some dude's ass.
While avoiding talking about Cassandra.
Hey man, I said all the lovely stuff about Cassandra already. You're the one who brought vulgarity into this.
Yeah, she can become the candidate to be the divine.
And her fucking divine outfit looks awesome.
Yeah, I think she's one of the better choices.
Well, there's only 3.
Yeah, there's 3 choices.
And if you pick Vivienne, you're insane.
Yeah. It's a choice of, like, if you pick Cassandra, it's because you want a Templar supremacy, as it were.
Well, not even that, because Cassandra, despite being a Seeker/Templar, she is incredibly lenient towards mages near the end of her adventure.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's more of, she wants to return to the old ways, but done correctly.
Somewhat. But even Leniana isn't openly about, oh yeah, have mages be free. You know? She's more likely to do that than the other 2, but she doesn't outright do it.
I think she does. Like, if you've done everything you can to make mages have more rights, I think she just basically just makes them free.
Maybe. Like, I mean, I'm always gonna fucking let I'm always gonna let the romance option that I took be the one in charge.
Yeah.
Vivienne just wants power for power's sake. She does not care about anything else.
No, she don't.
All of her points are psychopathic.
Yeah. She just wants to be the top bitch on campus. And if you hand her that role on a plate, then she'll take it. In both hands. But yeah, after Cassandra, we've got Solus the Egg. And
yeah, he's not an important character at all. We can gloss over him.
No, we gloss over him. Yeah. We got Blackwall. But yeah, Solus's thing during the normal game is that he talks about the Fade a lot.
Yeah, he does.
He tries to have lucid dreams where he goes and visits the Fade because that's the easiest time for a person to go and cross into the realm of dreams.
One of his words is one of his line of thoughts is literally just, "Oh, I find the giant spiders don't annoy you if you put food out for them."
Yeah. He's also like pro spirits because he's friends with a lot of spirits apparently.
I mean, like, if we want to just, like, I know we're early on in the podcast, but, like, if we want to pull the veil back, a little bit, and just point out the obvious, and that the entire plot of Inquisition happened because Solus is an idiot.
Yeah. Didn't he drop the artifact or something?
No, he gave it to Corypheus, but he believed Corypheus was so inept that he wouldn't actually, as soon as he activated the spell, he would be consumed by the orb, and that way Solus didn't have to sacrifice his mortal form.
Right, okay. At
least that's my understanding. It's been a fucking hot minute since I played Inquisition.
Yeah. Like, here's the thing. Like, sometimes we talk about our previous experience with things like this. My previous experience with Dragon Age Inquisition is it was my first game on the PS4. So look back at when the PS4 was released, and that's when I had it.
Oh, yeah, it would have been... But yeah, my brain was like, not PS5? I'm like, it's not on the PS5, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, PS5 is new. PS4 is not.
Oh.
Man, I got a PS4 like a month after it was released, secondhand already. Because there were no fucking games on it. There were no games on it. Someone just must have bought it and then just traded it in at CEX.
That is the worst thing to do.
Unless it was credit card fraud.
Well, okay, in which case, sure, fair enough, but
But
yeah, Solus helps you out throughout the entire game, and there's an entire DLC that is the epilogue that focuses partially on Solus being the obvious antagonist for the next game.
Yeah.
something Dreadwolf.
Yeah, he wants to... Well, he gets name dropped as the Dreadwolf at the end of the regular game. And it's only the last DLC that's a real sequel, because the other ones kind of could have happened at any time, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, when I say DLC, the DLC epilogue, I literally mean like, it takes place months after the end of Inquisition. Everyone's fucked off and they're coming back for this summit.
Yeah. It's the real after the end. It's what the Citadel DLC for Mass Effect 3 could have been if it weren't for the fact that the story had to end before that and they had to slot it in before.
Yeah, still made no sense. But hey, if you want to hear us talk about that, go back and look at our Mass Effect 3 retro.
Yeah, the button's going to be right down below somewhere. I don't know.
I'm not fucking linking it. I can't be bothered.
Yeah, just look through the archives.
It's only like 3 episodes ago. It's just, like, not that fast.
Well, true. But yeah, Solus has very strong opinions on that spirits should be treated as people and should have rights, and that you shouldn't just bind them and turn them into demons, which, is all well and good, but they're also not quite people.
Okay, here's where the problem actually lies, and that is the Veil is something that he accidentally created fucking whenever, ages ago, millennia ago, whatever. The exact timing isn't important. And what the Veil did is it split the mortal realm and the spirit realm. And what Solus suggests, and we have no way of knowing this is true or not, because it would require putting a lot of faith in this dude who, doesn't really care about mortals that much.
Yeah, he doesn't have our best interests at heart.
Exactly. And his proposition is getting rid of the Veil entirely. I'll get to that in a minute, actually. Get rid of the Veil entirely, and then spirits and mortals can coexist because there will be no threat of spirits malfunctioning and turning into demons. Which might be true, we don't know. But it probably don't fucking work as clean cut as he is suggesting it does.
Yeah, I think the implication is that if spirits no longer have...
a barrier.
No longer have to covet the mortal realm, and no longer have to possess someone to get into the mortal realm, then they don't have to possess anybody. They don't have to get corrupted by someone's internal workings and become demons, if they're not a demon already.
Yeah, but then the problem lies, so what do we do with the demons? Well, they're warped spirits and there's nothing we can do for them, just ice them. It's pretty much Solus's stance. But
Same.
one of the interesting things is throughout the game, everyone gets like a personal collectible quest sort of thing, and Solus's is, oh, here's these strange elven artifacts, take me to them and we can strengthen the veil. And you're like, oh, that seems like a good idea considering there's a massive fucking hole in the sky. And obviously in retrospect, that was probably doing the opposite.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Oh yes, if you are a female elf, you can romance Solus.
Yeah, because he's also a racist.
Yeah, he's he's a bit of a racist. And if you have the face tattoos, he offers to remove them because he just reveals that these were the mark of being a slave.
Mm.
And like modern Dalish, they've pieced together a fake culture based on things that they don't remember at all.
Well, it is one of those oddities, isn't it, where the Dalish had no way of knowing that. Their history's been lost, and they're reclaiming what they think they can.
Yeah. They've seen pictures of elves with face tattoos and gone, oh, cool, that must be what we're meant to have. So they've created a really intricate set of face tattoos that are all culturally relevant to them in the modern day. And yeah, it's not quite the equivalent of giving yourself blackface because it's the same race. But it's like giving yourself a barcode on your forehead saying, I am prisoner number this.
Not quite sure I agree with that entirely, but okay.
But yeah, it's without knowing the significance of it. And yeah, Solus also crops up a lot in Cole's storylines because he's the expert on things like that.
And here's one of the things as well. Cole's storyline specifically shows you how fucking wrong Solus can be. Because if you take Varric's options and make Cole less spiritual and more human,
he's happy.
There's no funk. And he becomes a person, and it's like, okay, if this can happen to Cole, why can't it happen to other spirits? Like,
yeah. I think part of it is didn't Cole create the body rather than possessing someone, right?
Well, he originally possessed someone, and then that person died, and then he recreated a body somehow in his likeness.
The one that he had, yeah.
Well, it wasn't similar. Apparently, it's identical. Yeah.
But yeah, the next one on the list is Warden Commander Blackwall.
Is he Warden Commander? I thought he was just Warden.
I think he has I think he's Warden Constable.
Maybe like he's a recruiter, so I don't think he's actually proper leadership. You know?
Yeah, I think Duncan was Warden Commander.
Yes, because Warden Commander implies you're in charge of the whole continent. Because we've got Warden Commander Clarel.
Or at least the country that you're in. So you might have a commander for each country.
Maybe so, but it might be more localized in country because you're Warden Commander of Amaranthine, aren't you? In in Awakening, not Awakening.
Yeah, it is Awakening.
Oh yeah, because it's Origins and then Awakening. Ignore me, I'm being dumb.
Dragon Age : Origins : Awakening. Yeah. So yeah, we touched on it before. He's pretending to be someone he's not, and the someone he's not is Warden Commander Blackwall. He's another person like Tom Rainier. He's a Orlesian knight, chevalier who killed
a bunch of people he should not have.
Yeah. And he was basically sentenced to death. The real Blackwall basically got him off death row and brought him on a short pilgrimage.
There's a bit of a difference there. He wasn't actually on death row. He might have been on. He might have been convicted, but he wasn't technically on death row yet. He was being transported somewhere. He got attacked by X, and said attack got It's a bit fuzzy, not gonna lie, but I don't think he actually got sentenced. I think they knew it was him, and they put out a wanted poster and stuff, and were like, "Oh, we need so and so to blah blah blah." And then during Tom's hiding out phase, he got encountered by Blackwall.
Yeah,
I think is
And
actually what happened, but yeah, it's a bit fuzzy.
like apparently the last thing Blackwall did was send Rainier and some other prospective recruits into the mountains to get some darkspawn blood, i.e., to start their joining.
Hmm.
And that's when the real Warden Blackwall died.
Maybe.
And that's when Rainier adopted his name, title, and occupation. Because this is the point where he had actually like fallen to hero worship, as it were.
One of my favorite interactions is after the revelation, and he's traveling with the party again, and Iron Bull just goes, "Huh, 8 years and no one knew you weren't Blackwall." He went, "I grew a beard. Takes more than that. I also didn't talk. I'll do it." So all it takes is to grow a big beard and not talk, and you can fool anyone.
Well, people that haven't met the guy, yeah, apparently. Like the beard is just to like hide the fact that he's Tom Rainier, and not talking is to hide the fact that he doesn't know as much as Blackwall should.
Also helps that he was a recruiter, so all he did was bloody walk around the wilderness, really.
Yeah, and basically, whoever he does recruit, he just goes, "Go to White House, go now." They'll do the rest, rather than what the actual recruitment would be, which is like doing the joining yourself.
Well, yeah. If you're a recruiter, I suppose that is your main job.
Yeah. The other thing is, because he's not a real Grey Warden, he's also the only Grey Warden that's not feeling the call at the moment.
Yeah, although he does a pretty decent job of bullshitting you.
Yeah. He doesn't know why he's not feeling it, and he's here to help you find out why. Oh boy.
Well, like straight up, it's either Stroud or Alistair, potentially Loghain, depending on your save file. But when you meet the informant, as it were,
yeah, the Warden contact.
Yeah, if you have Blackwall in your party, one of the special dialogue options is, "Blackwall, why haven't you been feeling this?" And he just goes, I don't know. Maybe it's not affecting all wardens the same, or some other bullshit. Like, he thinks on his feet pretty quickly, because he just doesn't know what any of this should feel like. He doesn't have any tainted blood in him.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's an interesting character. I didn't use him very much because I thought Cassandra was a better warrior to have around, or Iron Bull. Like he's the third choice of warriors.
Yeah, Iron Bull is more entertaining, and if you romance Cassandra every playthrough like I do, you keep her in the party.
Plus, it's fun to switch to Iron Bull and do some two-handed bullshit.
Man, they added an ability with one of the DLCs that made two-handed warriors equally as tanky as Sword and Shield.
Oh boy.
There's one of the Warhorn abilities.
Okay.
If you pump it with the alternative action,
yeah.
Then for the next 5 seconds, every time you do damage, it adds guard to you.
Right.
But that affects the whole party.
There's also a thing you can do with weapons. If you mastercraft a weapon with a certain material, then it gives you armor for every hit.
So that's what the Warhorn ability does, but it's party-wide.
Yeah. So yeah, you can do that, and that's the only way to get armor on anyone who's not a warrior, is to do one or the other.
So to do your little mastercraft thing, or to blow this Warhorn.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Man, it's very easy. If you're a mage in the party and that Warhorn goes off, you just do the staff discharge thing that does like 8 hits, and you instantly have full guard. It's bollocks.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. Well, a magic missile or whatever it was. Yeah.
It's under the fucking electric shock tree. Yeah.
Oh, is it the electric shock one? Yeah, not the spirit one. Okay.
Spirit is annoying because it's all fucking passive buffs, but not healing, because we can't do healing because it breaks the game.
Yeah, you have to use Estus flasks.
Except it's not it's fucking elf root potions and shit, but you're only allowed 8 instead of fucking...
Yeah, you're only allowed so many, and then when you get to a camp, it refills. Just like Estus.
It's fucking... I don't like that at all. But it's weird, isn't it? Because healing just gradually got phased out of Dragon Age, because in 1, it was impossible to die.
Yeah, yeah. Like, even a normal mage had heal. In 2, you had to be the healer mage to be able to heal, and even that was shit.
Yes, very shit. The only person who made use of it was Anders, but you know, you were probably going to have Anders in your party anyway, because the other mage was... Meryl was okay as a character, but I didn't like her attack tree.
Yeah. And then again, I was playing as a mage, so I already had mage covered.
Yeah, that's fair.
Let me have Isabella and Varric at once, and they'd be able to talk to each other. It was great. But yeah. So, moving on from Blackwall, we've got the Iron Bull, and he's another very interesting window into a culture that we've seen windows into the Qunari culture before. We've seen it through Sten, who we got to keep as a party member. We've seen it through the Arishok, who was he was someone that you could respect in some regards, but also he ended up being a bellend and just decided to he got bored of not having a war, so he had a war.
I can't respect him at all because fundamentally he is just a religious zealot.
Yeah. Okay. I feel that. Like, in the moment, it feels like you're growing some respect between Hawk and the Arishok. And it feels like more of a betrayal when he does actually just flip his shit and start a war.
It's hard to feel betrayal for someone who every single action they've taken throughout the game has been dictated by a book.
Yeah, yeah. 2 books. There's the Qun and the little book of the Qun, which he's trying to get back.
I'm just referring to the Qun, literally.
Yeah, yeah. Then there's the little book, which he's trying to get back, which is the one that Isabella took.
It's the fucking Treatise of Coastland or some bollocks.
Yeah, yeah, like the Tome of Koslun.
Hmm.
Yeah. But
Fuck
yeah,
the Shock.
yeah, the Iron Bull is voiced by James Vega.
Yeah, he told me this.
And he is a massive slab of man meat, and a lot of people really want him.
Well, they did originally say before the game came out that romance options were going to be limited by race because it's not believable that a Qunari could fuck a dwarf. However, once the game came out, they quickly just went, "Oh yeah, no, that was bullshit. You can fuck Qunari if you want."
Yeah, it was I think it was one of the animation teams that made it work.
Yeah, maybe. I have seen the cutscene of the characters' interaction with Iron Bull when they finally sleep together, and it is quite humorous of all of the fucking advisors, one by one, fucking just showing up like the Three Stooges. And when the third one turns up, Iron Bull just goes, "Oh, for fuck's sake."
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's looking at the giant Qunari dick. You can't not look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, Bull's modus operandi is if he sees someone who needs a dickin', then he's quite happy to oblige because he knows how it feels to be blue-balled. And back at home, he would just go around and visit one of the Tamasrans and get his rocks off.
I do like the way he words it, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, thank you, same time next week, and then does that fucking really deep click thing with his tongue.
Yep. Yeah. Bull's great. He's a spy. He admits this to you immediately.
But I do appreciate his logic, though, of just like, listen, you're gonna find out. Might as well put all cards on the table. Plus, like, come on, the Qunari's gonna spy on you. You might as well at least know who's spying on you, right?
Yeah. Like, you've got a better spy master than I am. So yeah. So you're gonna find out. So I might as well you might as well hear it from me. And this entire gang of mercenaries that I'm with are basically just my cover for being in this country at all.
Mm.
And the chargers are pretty cool. Bull's chargers. Some of them are interesting. One of them is voiced by Femshep.
Oh, okay. Is that Krem or?
That's Krem. Yeah.
Cremisius Aclassi.
Yep.
We both went for different names. How often can you do that?
Well, they're both true. Bull calls him creme de la creme.
Mm-hmm. It's one of the few things that, by the by, Krem is Tevinton, and they make a point with Iron Bull specifically of, the Kunari don't seem too bad because in the according to the Kun, you can abandon your birth identity to take the role of a man if you want. However, you get your own special name, and you're not quite treated the same, but you kind of are. It's a bit of a murky area. They don't go into it too much, and I think the reason is because they don't want it to be a bit too real.
yeah, totally. But yeah, another little gag I like from the Chargers is that Dalish, who is just a Dalish elf. They say, Bull goes, "Oh, we've got our warriors, we got our archers, and we got our other archers." And then when you're talking to Dalish, she goes, "What about that staff on your back?" And she goes, "It's a bow."
Dalish, there's a crystal on top of it.
It's the Dalish crystal.
Yeah, literally, it's a Dalish crystal. It helps you aim. It's not my fault you've never heard of it. And then you meet the guy that you masqueraded as earlier, and all he does is grunt. And Iron Bull is just like, my theory is he's the abandoned prince of a lost continent. Or Stitches as well. It's like, oh, he makes a mean health potion, but it tastes like ass.
Yep.
Why does it taste like ass, Rick?
Because it's a poultice. You're not meant to drink them.
Any moment with the Chargers is pretty neat, and in retrospect, it's really obvious why they do that.
Yeah. There's something that happens later on in Iron Bull's storyline that gets you to choose whether to make him a Kunari or to make him a Talvashoth.
And his artwork as a Talvashoth is quite gruesome looking.
Yeah.
Well, not gruesome, heartbreaking, I think is the word.
Like, it feels like, in the base game, it feels like there's no correct answer.
Oh, yeah. But then the DLC makes it very clear there was.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Bull. And what I like when you start the romance with him, he's like, "I've seen you looking. You want to ride the bull."
Crude, but yeah, adds up to what he would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one we got is Sarah.
She is far too bubbly for this world.
She's a pain in the arse in every best way.
She is the sole reason why I created a female Kunari as one of my characters one time.
Yeah, and when you first meet her, she just stops in the middle of a sentence and just goes, "You're well fit." Because she's never seen a female Kunari, so like.
To be fair, until this game, we hadn't.
No. Like if you still don't have a female Kunari in the party, like not being one, she'll ask about them, and she'll ask Bull, and she goes, "What about your women? Are they like you?" And he goes, "What, the Tomasrans? I mean, they're women. They're powerful, tall, and command respect." And she goes, "No, I mean like big and." And he goes, "Oh shit, yeah."
Like, it's really weird how but a lot of Bull's interactions with the party is talking about philosophy, which is very weird when you think about it because you don't expect it going in. And his interactions with Sarah are great because Sarah's like, "I could be a what you call it," and then he goes, "What?" And then word for someone who's converted. He goes, "Yeah, I'll be a great thingy." And he just laughs and goes, "No, you wouldn't."
I think it's Vidithari or something.
Maybe. I honestly forget. They use the word a lot in Dragon Age 2 with all the Elven conversions.
Yeah, for Talis, basically.
Sure?
Yeah, well, Talis might have been born within the Kun or converted, but it doesn't matter because she's the Kunari now anyway.
I'm specifically referring to, like, when you have the confrontation with the Arashok before he goes bullshit crazy on the city. He's, like, harboring two Elven criminals, and they're like, they've converted. They are now blah, blah, blah. Because, you know.
Sure.
Anyway, I want to go back to Bull very quickly. Do not romance Iron Bull. Ever. He is destined for Dorian. Fuck everyone else who says otherwise.
Yeah, they have a really good romance together. Like, it's one of those, it's okay if you want to romance one or the other, but you are depriving both of them of each other if you do so.
I mean, I think Iron Bull would succeed more than Dorian on the bachelor's market, because Iron Bull has got a very casual view of sex.
Yeah.
Whereas Dorian actually seems to care more about the intimate side of relationships.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, Dorian can be flirty and romantic with a female character.
There is actually a line when you find out he's gay, which has the little heart icon that says, "You were fucking stringing me along." It's just like, well, he wasn't. He was just kind of playing along because you started it.
He was responding in kind.
Which is kind of cute in its own way.
Yeah. It's playful party banter between playful party friends until, it turns out that you're actually not compatible in one regard, but only one regard, because he's still a bomb-ass pair of friends after that. So
it's one of my favorite letdowns in a video game is when you constantly flirt. Like, Sarah doesn't like you flirting with her if you're a dude anyway, but there is a certain point where you make it very obvious you're interested in her, and she's just like, listen, we're very similar, you and I. And she lists off a couple of things and then goes, we both like girls.
Yeah. Yeah. The one she said to me was, yeah, you're kind of not my thing. Your thing is not my thing.
Wow. Yeah, Sarah is a very good window into how regular elves who were brought up in human society, but like brought up not quite in an alien, like an average life for an average person living in Ferelden who isn't necessarily human or top of the rung.
Yeah, she's basically a street rat rather than living in the alienage or being out in the Dales. She looks down on both of them as well. Like, she thinks that the alienage elves have like rolled over too easily and just accepted living in their own secluded slum. And she looks down on the Dalish for being too stuck up their own arses and like sticking to traditions that I think she kind of knows they don't really exist.
Yeah, too elfy.
Yeah, they're too elfy. She even doesn't want to get with a female elf straight away because she's like, well, people are going to look at us and go, it's elves doing elfy shit. And
I think one of the lines as well that's a bit more crude is it's just going to be like loads of bones racking against each other.
Yeah, she likes everything other than elves better than elves because everything other than elves has more meat on them.
Yo, she is surprisingly considerate to Solus if you romance Solus and then piss off for her. It's surprising how she doesn't rub salt in the wound. And then again, I guess it shouldn't be because we have that fun little pranking quest with her where when you get to
Jenny, yeah.
I don't think it's called that. It's when you're pranking the inner circle, like Josephine and Cullen.
Oh, pranking everyone, yeah. It's the organization of pranksters are called the Friends of Red Jenny.
Oh, I get that. I thought you meant that was the name of the quest line, which I don't think it is, but whatever. The very last one you do is Leniana, and it's like you got to look for something to prank, and you go, oh, what's this? Oh, it's a locked box. Nah, I don't want to fuck with that. That's probably too personal.
Yeah.
I think she also has a line with Iron Bull as well, where if she gets with the Inquisitor, and she says something along the lines of, don't make fun, when Iron Bull starts talking about it, and he goes, what? And she just goes, you don't make fun of something that's important, and Iron Bull just goes, oh, it's important, good to know. Very chummy.
Yep. They also have that little bit of party banter where Iron Bull and Sarah have a bit of a friendly rivalry when it comes to getting kills. But Sarah doesn't like the gory part, she just likes the winning part.
Yeah.
Like, Bull doesn't like it when Sarah keeps shooting someone that he's fighting.
Yeah, kill stealing.
Yeah. He wasn't dead yet. But I had him. My axe was coming down. Yeah, he should have been faster. Sarah, stop stealing my kills.
One of the other ones that's pretty fucking good is Iron Bull very early on suggests lifting Sarah up and chucking her over the enemy so she ends up behind them. And she's like, I'm not letting you throw me through the air. He goes, what? Varric's too Get the wording he uses, but it's basically like he's too fat, but saying it a bit more delicately. And Sarah just goes, "Well, do some bloody presses. You're not chucking me through the air."
Yeah, Barrett's got too much density.
That's it. I think he says he's too dense.
Yeah. Another step back to Bull. He also has a lot of discourse with Solus.
Yeah, because Solus does not shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah, they can't agree on anything apart from the fact that they both like chess.
So much, and it blows my mind that while you're going through the wilderness, they're playing mental chess.
Yeah, and like these moves of mental chess are like they're gonna be weeks apart.
Yeah.
And it's only because you as a player are watching these interactions probably within the same afternoon, same evenings, or at least a couple of days apart, that you can make sense of it. And apparently, if you plug those moves into an actual chess simulator, it simulates the King's game.
Okay, sure.
It's like a famous chess match on set of moves.
I'll take your word for it, dude.
But yeah, that's something I found out when I was on a wiki dive.
Like, the entire game is pretty much ace as far as party banter is concerned.
Yeah. Another bold one is with Cassandra, where he asks Cassandra, well, yeah, the hammered tits, the armor with the hammered tits, and the other one is, how many pieces have you managed to cut someone into in one go? And she goes, I've never tried. And then he goes, hey, if I go high and you go low, do we reckon we can make one of them do a flip? And she just giggles.
Like, Iron Ball is great for that sort of crack. My favourite one, like, he's got two, like, this is just us pretty much repeating party banter, but I don't give a shit. I'm doing it. We've got the time. He's got two with Blackwall before the revelation, which I fucking adore. First one, he straight up says, hey, how many limbs have you cut off in one strike? And Blackwall does this really brooding, really serious, fighting is a sacred duty for all Grey Wardens. We do not consider it fun. Goes, yeah, sure, but how many? The heads count? Heads absolutely count. Then 3.
Yep.
And it's just like, yeah, he describes in visceral detail the cut he would have had to make to do that. And the other one is Iron Ball just musing, hey, what's your favourite material for weapons to be made out of? And Blackwall goes, well, Silverite is quite effective against Darkspawn, so I guess that. How about you? Goes, what was it? I think it's Dawnstone. Dawnstone? It's pretty. It's pink. It's pretty.
It's pretty.
Don't argue with the... It's like fucking let the Wookiee win. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah. Let the Wookiee win. Yeah, it is literally that, though, isn't it? Yeah, it's don't argue with the big, massive person who has a preference.
And because of that, I always tint his armor in Dawnstone.
Yeah. The different materials you can make stuff out of do make things look different. And some of them are more impactful than others.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got after Sarah, we've got Cole. We touched on him slightly when we talked about Solus. He's a spirit. He previously inhabited the body of a guy, which I think the guy was a mage who was persecuted and died.
Yeah, and it's actually the basis of an entire Dragon Age book.
Right, okay.
So if you want to actually read the story of that, you can. I don't really dive into the Dragon Age novels or books or anything. I don't have the time, and the games are more fun.
I did it with Mass Effect. I read all the Mass Effect novels because there's only 4 of them. I've not done it with Dragon Age novels.
Hey, to be fair, Dragon Age has got like 10 times that. There's a lot of Dragon Age shit. There's some Dragon Age shit that reveals that Alistair has got so much different types of blood, you wonder how he can be human.
Yep. You get to meet his mum in this one as well. It's great.
You do, and I would.
Yeah.
But
yeah, like we said, Cole has the main the main part of his own personal quest is to either choose to be more human or choose to be more not elfy, spirit-like.
Yes.
And it's basically choosing between whether you want Varric's help and getting him laid, or Solus's help and just freeing him from his mortal shell.
You do eventually get him laid if he becomes human. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then you help Krem get laid.
Yeah. Because he still has his ability to sense what people are thinking and all that.
Mm.
He's the only person to call Bull the Iron Bull every time.
Yes,
and
like there is some attention to detail.
Yeah, and Bull says, when he's asked about it, why does he call himself the Iron Bull? It's that he makes him feel more like a force of nature. If he has,
the article in front of it.
Yeah, he gives himself the definite article.
One of the sweetest moments with Cole is when he when he just becomes human, and he is told straight up that people will not forget you now. The first thing Cole asks is, "How will I slip honey into Leliana's tea?" And Varric is just like, "Well, I can help you with that," implying that Varric is apparently sneaky enough to sneak past Leliana.
Or distracting enough to distract Leliana.
This is true. It's hard not to notice Varric.
Yeah, he can spin a yarn.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. We've got Vivian, and she's a bit of a bitch.
A bit?
She's the God Queen bitch of all of Orlais.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Like, alright, I like Vivian. She's needed as a party member to give certain perspectives, but fuck, is she so far up her own arse.
Yeah. I'm glad that I played as a mage, so I could have a Knight Enchanter that wasn't Vivian.
Alright, real talk. The Knight Enchanter, by the way, got a massive debuff during one of the DLCs because they were like, oh, this actually makes the game trivial, so we're just going to change the way its gimmick works. It's still fine, and it's still pretty bullshit, but not as bullshit as it was. If the base game version did not exist, we got a robot in the chat. Fuck off. Oh, it's a Russian one. Oh, no.
Oh, not today.
Not today. Go away. Right, yeah. My brain just completely shut off. The Knight Enchanter, the way it originally worked, is the only reason I platinumed Dragon Age Inquisition. I was not going to do a super hardcore fucking playthrough of Dragon Age Inquisition. I don't play Dragon Age for that reason. Yeah,
it's one of those, like, it was so strong that you could literally just throw it at the hardest difficulty and just win.
Yes. Fun fact, Dragon Age is the only series of games where I've platinumed each edition.
That's interesting, actually.
Yeah, I platinumed Origins, then I platinumed 2, and then I platinumed... I platinumed 2. I went back to do some of the bullshit ones in Origins, and I've platinumed Inquisition, but I've not done the DLCs.
Sure.
Because some of the DLCs are like, oh, put this challenge on and achieve this, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I've already got the platinum. I've experienced the story. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I don't want to play this part of the game again, but without potions. No.
Yeah, Vivian is a very traditional mage. She doesn't believe that mages are oppressed because she's from a place where mages are basically not oppressed, because she's also a noble, and noble mages are not oppressed in Orlais at the top of the Orlesian Tower.
Yeah, because they're part of the social climate.
Yeah. And also she wears horns. They're not real horns, they're made of fabric.
It gives Iron Bull the horn.
Well, it's less... It's more that they make her look like a Qunari lady. So whenever she says something in a commanding voice, he's like, yes, Tama. He just immediately falls in with whatever she says because she's commanding and she has the horns.
Would you bang a Vivian?
I don't know.
I wouldn't have a long-term relationship with them because that would fucking implode, but look-wise, not the worst.
Yeah, I feel you. Like of all the people in Inquisition, there are a lot of people that are higher on the list than Vivian, though. Mainly because I can see myself enjoying their company for more than just 45 seconds.
Cassandra exists.
Yeah. And Liliana and Josephine.
I'm not as high on Josephine, but I think we'll get into that when we get to her.
Sure. And the last one I've got in the playable characters list is Dorian Mercury.
Dorian Mercury.
Yeah, he's got the Freddie Mercury mustache. It's great.
I do like how both other mages point out how he could actually be more effective as a battle mage if he didn't put so much pizzazz into his spellcasting.
Yeah, and he goes, yes, but pizzazz. Solus even actually says, if I don't know why you're putting that much effort into it, because you're just making yourself sparklier. And Dorian goes, yes, but I have actually thought this through. The way that I burn the ether makes it so the I'm saying ether, but
Oh yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah.
I burn the mana around, so the surrounding mana just rushes in to meet it, and then I can absorb that and compress it. And Solus goes, actually, that's ingenious. and yeah, the underlying reason is, it's to be more flashy. The only downside to Dorian is that he's a necromancer, which is shit in this game.
He's a necromancer technically, but he's also not. He doesn't bring things back to life.
Yeah, he uses the school of necromancy, not being a necromancer. So yeah, his specialization is in the necromancy tree. And let's be honest, if you're a player mage, you're a knight enchanter. If you're bringing a mage along, it might be Dorian because he's got the best bants. He's got really good bants with Sarah, actually.
He's got great bants with Sarah. He's got great bants with Bull. He's got great bants with Cassandra a little bit because he's super jealous of Cassandra because she got brought up in one of those crypt places in Navarre.
Yeah. The other one is...
He introduces us to that word that means I shit on your tongue.
Yeah, Vashanti Kafas.
And I love it as well because eventually Sarah goes, I know swearing when I hear it, and you're swearing.
Yeah. Tell me what it means. And he goes, literally, it means I shit on my tongue. And you shit on my tongue. And Sarah goes, why don't you just say that then? It's well cooler. But my favourite one with Sarah is when Dorian goes, Sarah, where do you get your arrows from? You've got hundreds. And she just goes, from your ass, that's where. And he goes, my ass should open up a shop. It's apparently quite prolific.
But yeah, it's one of those where Sarah likes having like antagonistic conversations with people because it's kind of her way of bonding. And looping back a little bit, one of the more entertaining ones is she tries to do it with Varric, and Varric knows exactly how to not... he done it in Dragon Age 2 all the fucking time as well. But with Sarah, it really deflates her, where it's just like, man, dwarves... Sarah just goes, man, dwarves are weird. And Varric just goes, no argument here. You're no fun.
It's gonna be tin can ASMR for me.
Lovely. Oh, yes.
I didn't know whether I'd need a second one anyway.
2 energy drinks in one day. Rick's heart will explode.
Oh, it's okay.
Is it?
I mean, it's just the rest of the world will turn black after my heart explodes. It's just...
Oh, that's fucking more grim than I thought you were going to take it, but okay.
But yeah, Dorian is very fun. We get to see... Well, he's fun and also real. We get to see a window into Tevinter culture more than any time before, because we got to see it a little bit with Fenris, but to be honest, he doesn't remember most of the actual culture. With Dorian, he does remember the culture because he was raised in it and he was part of the nobility, and he wants to say that not every Tevinter was bad. And if the good guys win at the end of the day, no matter what he did to do the right thing, what he did to save people, to, defeat villains, all people are going to remember is that he was Tevinter. And for him, that's kind of all he ever wanted, because he wants it to be known that not everyone in this country is a shit.
Yeah, man. It's just hit me that the one part of the game that made me tear up involved Dorian.
Oh, is that when you can meet his dad?
Yeah, because I get really uncomfortable watching other people cry.
Yeah.
And the voice actor nailed it with Dorian having a fucking breakdown.
Yeah, when it was just that one line of, "You tried to change me."
Like, it's bad enough in the real world where, like, people use all sorts of emotional manipulation to try and do that thing, but the implication and my takeaway is that Dorian's parents may have literally used blood magic.
Yeah, they used blood magic to do a magical form of conversion therapy on him, and it failed, but they tried it.
Yeah, like, I don't know how Dorian's father, like, I have to assume that Dorian's mother just isn't that invested because she doesn't show up and she really is barely mentioned at all. Dorian even points out that his parents fucking hate each other, and how do you expect to reconcile with anyone where you've literally tried to use the most outlawed version of magic to mentally and or physically change them?
Yeah. Well, except in Tevinter, it's kind of on a sliding scale, because officially it's outlawed.
I
But
know, I get what you're saying, but morally, from anyone's perspective not in the video game, blood magic is the
totally.
evilest thing you can do.
Pretty much. Like, on a personal level, yes. Like, but here's the thing: for in the Tevinter lexicon, using your own blood is fine as long as you don't use anyone else's. And then when you use your own slave's blood, that's, they're your property. So why wouldn't you? And because everyone else is doing it, then it just makes it a race to the bottom in terms of depravity. Like, that's how the Tevinter nobility think.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like I said, I was doing it from the view of the outside person playing the game. Most people agree blood magic's fucked up.
Yeah. Like, the only thing worse than blood magic is more blood magic where you've actually had to do a human sacrifice.
Okay. Blood magic is still human sacrifice, just on a smaller scale.
Well, I mean, if the person lives, then it's not really
They've sacrificed.
sacrifice.
They've sacrificed some of their life force. It is a sacrifice on a human scale. This is my interpretation. You can take it however you want, but that's how I look at it.
Okay. I'm just saying that human sacrifice basically means the entire life, but sure.
Respectfully disagree.
Like, before that is just an amount of blood magic.
Yeah, but in Dragon Age terms, blood is life force.
Sure.
You can't equate real world reasoning. Like, real world reasoning, if you take someone's blood to use magic, you're fucked in the head anyway.
True. But even lyrium is Titan blood.
Well, yeah, but they're not sentient. It's fine.
Yeah, not anymore. Well, it's like, you can have a vegan, but they'll still drive a car, which is powered by dinosaurs.
If you want to be pedantic about it, which I know you like to do, sure.
Oh, yeah, totally. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it about the player characters. In the wings, we've got our power trio of NPCs.
You were trying to say triumvirate, weren't you?
Try. We've got the triad. I was trying to say the Eshin triad, but we're not playing fucking Skaven. We've got Liliana as the spy master. Even if you killed her in Dragon Age 1, she returns for this one saying that, yeah, I was brought back by the ashes of Andraste. And if you pissed in the ashes of Andraste with dragon blood, she went, yeah, I was brought back and it fucking hurt.
Okay.
And so, yeah, either way, Liliana's back. And she's a lot more...
hardened.
Yeah. She's a lot more hardened, angry, and just otherwise unpleasant.
You can double down on her hardenedness or unharden her throughout the game.
Okay.
Did you not know this?
I think it plays more into when you make her the divine. So I think I didn't plan to do so. So I just went with Cassandra anyway.
Well, I don't think that's got anything to do with it. Like, there's literally choice. There's her entire storyline. The outcome is determined by how ruthless you've been around her. Like, there's loads of choices.
Sure.
Like, I think the earliest one is, she finds out she finds out she had a double agent in her midst, and you can say, oh no, you definitely need to root him out, or you can stop her because she knew him very closely. It's just like, why don't you do this instead? Blah, 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 blah. One of the problems is to be a spy master, you have to not give a shit.
Yeah. Plus, something like that, like, you can just pull that double agent up and go, okay, we know you're a double agent.
Now you're a triple agent.
Why don't you turn the tables? Like, they've sent you here. We know that you're here. Yeah, just
give them some wrong info.
Give them a little bit of wrong info, a little bit of right info that's not going to get too many people killed. Just good enough info that they don't know that you've been compromised, and feed stuff back to us as well.
I think that usually the implication is they're not getting information, because why would they?
Well, it's stuff like supply lines are easily replaced, especially decoy supply lines, for instance, things like that.
Yeah, but what I more mean, the double agent is probably not getting information from the other side. They're just supplying information. You know what I mean?
Sure. Depends how much time they spend on both sides.
Well, because they started as a regular agent before the Inquisition was even a fucking sparkle in someone's eye. I think it's implied that they turned afterwards, so it's like, we're getting hung up on something that don't really matter. It's fine.
Yep. Yeah, because in part 1, you're just the herald. You're not even the Inquisitor, are you?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, you're the Herald of Andraste because you got the green shit on your arm, and you can punch the sky and make it right again.
Yes.
But yeah, you've got Cullen.
Yep.
He's from the mage origin from 1, and some cameos in 2.
I mean, you say that, like, you get to meet him regardless of what origin you pick, at least in 1.
Sure, yeah, he's at the top of the tower, and he's the one that basically does the rite of annulment if you choose it.
I didn't even know that because I've never picked that option because it's fucked.
Yeah, it is fucked. Yeah, like I've never picked it. Like, why would you? Unless you really hate mages, in which case, it's still fucked.
Yeah.
And so are you. If you picked it, you're a bellend.
Oh.
Yeah. So he shows up again, and he's learned from his time as someone who keeps getting promoted through no fault of his own. Like, people above him keep proving to be shits, and he just proves to be the most capable and honest Templar that's ripe for the next promotion. And now he's basically the commander of the entire... Is it the Inquisition at the beginning?
I mean, I think it's
technically... She declare the Inquisition... Like, she declares an Inquisition at some point, but...
She declares an Inquisition after the prologue, because once you're in Haven proper and everything's been cleared up, Cullen is in charge of the forces that are remaining where the Divine blew up. I don't know what his official rank is, though, at the time.
Sure. Yeah, he is a Templar, but he's not as involved with the Templars as you might hope, or as he might hope anymore.
He's a Templar, and he's in charge of the forces, including some Templars that remained that are under Justinian still.
Sure.
Before she gets blowed up.
Yep.
Jesus.
You can flirt with him as a male to begin with until he realizes, oh, you're not just being friendly. Yeah, no.
Dude, I shit you not, I got accused of flirting with a dude once. And I would... It wasn't, because I know that wasn't the intention, but I can't tell if my friends were just taking a piss. I really don't know. But this... Alright, tell me your opinion on this, actually, because again, I think it was perfectly innocent and me just trying to be funny, which often blows up in my face. We were at the bowling alley, and no, it wasn't 1982.
It's okay, I too have been bowling, and I was born in the 80s.
Oh, Jesus. We were in the bowling alley. I went because I wanted to go to the arcade, but then we also fucking actually did bowling. And it's like, oh, you want to get drinks? Go to the blah, blah, go get drinks. It's like, cool. I'll have a Coke. No ice, please. Blah, blah, blah. Coke gets given to me. It's in a proper glass and everything. I was amazed. And then I was just like, fuck it. I took a straw and I looked the dude in the face and I went, straws for men. Because it was a pretty pink one, and I thought it was really funny and stupid. And it was also one of those small ones that's designed for like children's mouths, so it's really not good for. So it's not really good for drinking.
Thin ones.
It's like Capri Sun size. That's how small it was. And I'm just like straws for men. Put it in my drink and then had a sip. And then after he fucked off to the arcade machines, my buddy just went, "You were flirting with him," and I was like, "I really fucking wasn't."
Yeah, okay. I don't think it sounded like flirting from the retelling.
Maybe I've missed out some vital step that was included, but I'm pretty sure that's all I said to the dude, besides asking for a Coke.
Okay, so all I can think of is maybe you unintentionally made some body language moves that you've not retold in the retelling.
I was just sat on a chair. That's the thing, though. Well, not a chair. You know those weird stool things they have by bar counters?
Yeah.
I was sat in one of those. Maybe I was twirling my hair or something. Sometimes I do that without thinking because I've got very long hair and I just fucking twirl. Mm-hmm. Maybe I was doing that and that's what made them think it, but I don't think I was.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than Cullen, we've got Josephine.
Josephine is great at her job.
Yeah, she's our new secretary ambassador because there are so many minions that she needs to take care of them all.
She shows her chops very early on with there's some fucking outraged noble from Orlais who says this land belongs to us and it was only loaned to Justinia for blah blah. He's talking shit, but he's trying to do a land grab when the sky is melting, which is kind of a dick move anyway. And you can watch her work, and one of the things she says, I think the solution she actually comes up with is she says, in that case, it's a matter of honor. In which case, you can duel our good lady Pentecast for the right to the land. Shall I set up a time? And he quickly goes, no, you may.
Claim.
He doesn't withdraw his claim. He just goes, on second thought, you may keep the land for a little while longer. And then he fucks off.
Yep. Like she also pulls out things like, yes, there's a precedent for this under blah 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 blah, and another one is just before the I also sentenced the box thing, she just stops reading the charges against the box to just say, "Excuse me, there is an odor."
Yeah.
I also think she was the first role of her voice actor in the professional scene, and now she's like pretty prolific.
Oh, fair dues.
Can't remember who it is.
I couldn't tell you, man. I don't know many voice actors from. Like, the only reason I know Iron Bull is voiced by Vega is because you fucking told me. Unless they're a well-known name, I apologize to voice actors everywhere. I'm probably not going to take note of it.
Dude, it might even be Christina V. Because I think she was I think she was doing like mostly musical covers before this. Did one as a voice actor, and now she's a voice actor as well.
Fair enough.
But I could be wrong.
I'm not going to argue with you because I really don't know. Let's let me just get to the core of why I don't like Josephine all that much.
Sure.
I like her as a character, and her role is very important. The reason why I don't like her as a romantic option is because she is like the polar opposite of Cassandra.
Sure.
Like, you know how once you're in a romantic relationship in game, you can have those little encounters where you're like, let's be lovey-dovey. Cassandra takes you to somewhere private away from other people, and it's like, this is your private moment. Josephine takes you in the center of the fucking garden with everyone watching for you to be all fucking huggy-dovey. So even when you're in a private relationship with her, she's like, I'm now using this for my social ladder. Which is fine. Nothing wrong with that. I'm just not a fan of it.
Everybody look at me. I've won romance.
Like, literally.
Yeah.
I think she's an option for both genders as well.
I think she is, yeah.
Sorry, both sexes. There's like 700 genders, but whatever.
Oh, yeah, it's fine. But yeah, because there's so many like people that you can recruit, you actually can say no to some of them. But the game will make you feel like an arsehole for saying no.
Like, I think the only person you can say no to, and it's justified, is Vivienne.
Yeah.
I've never said no to anyone, but I imagine Vivienne just goes, "Oh well, fine, whatever. I'll fucking find another way to become boss bitch. Fuck you."
I think Blackwall, you can even recruit them and then send them away.
I think you can send a lot of people away. Like, I know there's an option in Sarah's chat wheel that says you don't fit the Inquisition.
Yeah. Well, there's also one where if you've been doing a load of evil things, then Sarah just goes, "You've had to work really hard to piss me off."
Yeah, that's fair. Like I said, Sarah's a little ray of sunshine, even though she has she doesn't necessarily have a right to be.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess we should talk about the plot a little bit. The plot starts with the this religious summit. It's meant to be an entente between the mages and the Templars, and Divine Justinia is there, and it blows up because of Corypheus's green orb, which used to be Solus's green orb, and it tears the sky apart. Because you were there, you're now public suspect number 1 for some reason.
I mean, you're public suspect number 1 because you walk out of the Fade with a glowing green hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to admit, it looks suspicious.
Yeah, you survive, and you've got a thing that's the same color as everything else that's going wrong.
Yeah, man. The tutorial / prologue is kind of boring, and I tend to mash through it on subsequent playthroughs. But it does set up the world pretty adequately.
Yeah, and it might be the first time that a dwarf has been like legitimately magical, or at least in recent memory.
Dagna.
Well, yeah, but she's not real mage.
But Dagna, though.
She went to the Circle Tower and learnt about magic. She can do enchantment, but you know,
Sandal is definitely magic.
Yeah, he is. Not enchantment.
Does he show up in Inquisition? I don't think he does he?
Don't think they do. They might be a thingy table thing.
No, I think you do get a brief glimpse of Sandal in the epilogue. In the epilogue DLC, where you're in the Fade, you see loads of notes and a dead pride demon, and the notes just say enchantment.
Yeah. But yeah, the sky is torn apart, and you go around trying to solve it until early on you get a choice between whether to support mages or Templars in the Mage Templar War, which is now back in full swing. And I think you said you always supported the Templars, at least in your first playthrough.
I supported the Templars in my first playthrough because they had the most obvious route.
Sure.
But in subsequent playthroughs, it's pretty much exclusively mages.
Yeah. Like, the Templar one puts you against a mage, and he's the one who's got the future thing going on, isn't he?
I don't know what you're talking about. No, the mage one is the one where you go to the future.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking the other way around. Yeah,
when you go to the Templars, it's a really big despair demon.
Yeah, it's a big old. You go through a fortress, and that's where you recruit Cole. Cole and Dorian are recruited in this mission, whichever one you do. Then after you do it, the other one comes to your house and says, "Can I join as well?"
Cole's he literally shows 2 seconds for the Templars kick you Dorian.
Yep.
Like, he knocks on the gate and just goes, "Please let me in." Wait, no, I can't come in if you don't open the gate. It's really really cutely worded.
Yep. Can I come in? I can't come in if you don't open the door. But yeah, if you support the mages, you're against another mage who is
Dorian's mentor.
Yeah, he's Dorian's mentor, and he's been experimenting with rift magic, which has only existed since the beginning of the rifts. So as soon as the rifts started opening, and he's found a way to do time travel, but he can only go back to the moment the rift started opening.
It's the time travel rules in this game are bizarre.
Yeah. And they only apply to you, basically, because everyone else who's in that mission everyone else who's in that mission is like a time clone, or sorry, it's the future version of that character if you weren't there and if everything went to shit.
Yeah,
Like,
it's basically implied that if the future is allowed to run its course without you interfering, every character who you didn't select for your party, conveniently, gets killed off screen, and the others are very close to death because Red Lyrium ain't no joke.
no, it's not. The ones that do show up are like, yeah, they're close to death. Even the ones that are in your party, they're close to death with Red Lyrium, and the only one that's not is Dorian.
Yeah, because he gets flung forward with you.
Yeah. You go together.
Like, the only reason your entire party isn't wiped out and dead is because you need 4 people in your party for the game to work.
Yeah. Like, I remember having Iron Bull, and he's like got, I think he's got like crystals growing out of him at that point. He's nearly fucked.
I don't think any of them have. I don't think any of them have model changes. I think they just have a red glow.
Oh yeah, the aura. Yeah, that might be what I'm remembering. Yeah,
I could be wrong.
If you do win that, that's when you get Alistair's mum as your representative of mages.
Yeah, but we don't know that.
Yeah, she just comes to your house and she just stays there. End of Act 1, Corypheus gets sick of your shit and comes to bomb your entire settlement that you set up at Haven.
Yep.
And then after that, you go on a nice little walk through the mountains and you come across the cool castle Skyhold.
The most boring part of the game that you can't skip is that fucking walk through the snow.
Yeah. Yeah, I've only done it twice.
I've played that game a lot.
Yeah, once you're at Skyhold, like, the game opens up a little bit more. You get the title of Inquisitor, and you can actually make more and better choices for your entire army.
Yes, because the command table really opens up at this point.
Yeah. And yeah, Corypheus we mentioned a little bit in the Dragon Age 2 retro, in that he was set up as the big bad for this one. And yeah, he continues to be the big bad, even though he was basically defeated in Dragon Age 2's DLC.
Yeah.
But apparently not well enough.
I mean, it's their excuse for getting Hawk involved in the game, where Hawk literally says, "Corypheus is my problem. I will deal with him."
Yep. Yeah, you actually get to create Hawk in the Dragon Age 3 engine, because importing a Dragon Age 2 appearance for Hawk was clunky at best and impossible at worst. So you just get to recreate a new Hawk.
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you, I just stuck with the generic look because the generic look is fine.
Yeah. You get to meet Hawk again and another Grey Warden representative. If you took your sibling into the Deep Roads, you get Riordan, I believe. Loghain if you recruited him.
Riordan? Stroud, mate.
Not Riordan. Yeah, Riordan's the one that tells you that about the Darkspawn sacrifice. Yeah, it's Stroud. Yeah, Warden Stroud.
Riordan is fucking dead as fuck.
Yeah, he's the one that takes out the Archdemon's wing to stop it from flying away and just like living to fight another day.
Mm.
It lets you have a final boss fight. Yeah, I'm bad. It's not Riordan. My bad. Sorry. Yeah, it's Stroud.
Yeah, Stroud fucking sucks.
Yeah, he does. So you either get Loghain or Alistair.
Loghain is the most interesting of those 3.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, he straight up when he explains the situation, you can actually throw it in his face. Like, didn't you try to destroy the fucking Grey Wardens? And he just goes, "That was years ago. I've been a Grey Warden for longer than that conflict lasted."
Yeah. Like, he basically says, "Yeah, I did. However, I've given the last 10 years of my life to them, and I've been doing the right thing ever since," kind of thing. Yeah. And by the end of that mission, you get to choose to leave one behind, and you have to choose to leave one behind.
Yeah, and it's always going to be the Grey Warden.
Technically, however, there is a bit of dialogue or a bit of interface that makes it look like Hawk is the actual correct choice.
Yeah, except you fucking tell Varric, with his fucking doggy dog puppy eyes, that you sent his best friend to die.
Yeah, you get to give him a hug. It's great.
No.
It's not. It's not great.
If you have
It's the one.
Varric in your party when you come out of the Fade, the first thing he says is, "Where's Hawk?" And you give him a sad look, and he just goes, "Where's Hawk?" That's all he says. And then he just, when it becomes very apparent where Hawk is, he just walks off, and he is not happy. It is
He's
very
not happy.
rare that you see Varric not happy. You've seen him angry before, but unhappy? Take a shot every time.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd be parched. Let's say that. Let's say the least. Yeah. You do get to speak to him about it afterwards. And yeah, you get to give him a hug.
Mm.
And you get to hear some good old war stories about back when Hawk was active that you didn't see during Dragon Age 2.
Because Cassandra didn't think it was worth asking.
No. And he's telling it as if it's at a funeral.
Yeah, well, it kind of is.
It essentially is. Like, as far as he's concerned, the eulogy to you is the best he's ever going to get from a funeral, because there's nobody to pick up. There's nowhere to go and to go and mourn. You were the last person to see Hawk alive, and yeah, you just share that nice tender moment, and you can both smile reverently at someone who is now lost.
Meanwhile, the Grey Warden dies, and everything just goes on as normal.
Yeah. Like, picking Loghain seems like the logical thing to do, because he's like in his 70s by that point. Like, he ain't got much left. He ain't got much life left in him, and he's going to be saving the world if he does it. So, like, that's basically all he ever wanted. Alistair is a bit more of a difficult case because he's still got a lot of life left in him.
Well, it's one of those weird things, actually, because if Alistair is still with the Grey Wardens and not king, he becomes a drunk.
Yeah, fair enough.
His life is not great.
No. And if you send anyone other than Hawk to leave there, it says this person will die.
If you send Hawk, yeah,
it says this person may die.
Except I believe that was actually a typo, because in my most recent playthrough, I sent Stroud to his death, and it said this person may die as well, instead of will. So I think they retroactively changed that during a patch.
Sure. But yeah, it's implied that Hawk is just that much more of a badass that they might actually win, or at least beat the demon back through attrition for long enough that other spirits come to help.
Potentially. The interesting thing with Stroud is Stroud actually gets a bit of a minor eulogy from Varric if you send Stroud, because Varric just goes, "I didn't know Stroud very well, but he was good," and blah 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 blah.
Okay. Yeah, it's Hawk was Varric's friend. It makes them cry. You also get to choose Hawk's personality in this as well, based on, similarly to in 2, where you could have silly, aggressive, or diplomatic. And yeah, everyone picks fucking silly because it's the most fun.
Yeah.
And it's because the Grey Wardens are going nuts and doing blood magic to stop them all hearing the call to go commit Toasterbath. Like, the call is meant to be when the corruption is getting too much for you, you go into the deep roads and fight Darkspawn until you can no longer fight, and then you just die. And that's seen as the most honourable way to go about it. Otherwise, you just become a ghoul.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's happening to all the Grey Wardens because of Corypheus' fake archdemon. Spoiler: Corypheus has a fake archdemon, and it shows up.
It's showing up during the conflict with the Wardens is one of the things that triggers Chlorel's face turn.
Yeah, because before that, yeah, they're doing the blood magic, like sacrificing some of the Wardens to stave off the call. But yeah, the created archdemon is created from red lyrium, which we've touched on it before. It's lyrium that's been infected with the taint, which is one of those things you can't really say with a straight face very much, but you know. And yeah, Corypheus does that thing of he performs the big bad role without actually showing up very much. Because if he showed up too often and you beat him too often, like I said, there's millions of times before that he would suffer too much villain decay. So you've got other villains as tide me overs in the meantime. Like you've got the main villain from whichever route you didn't pick in the Mages versus Templars.
Yeah, I forget who the mage is, but if you're fighting the Red Templars, it's Samson.
Yeah, you get that for a longest amount of time. I think it's Calpurnia is the Templar one.
No, the what if you sided with the Templars? You mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Vinter Magister called Calpurnia, I think.
Fair enough, man. I really can't remember. Samson is more like because I've played the mage route a lot more. Samson's more stuck in my head.
Yeah.
He also has a song about him in the tavern.
Yeah. My favorite song in the tavern is the one about Sarah.
Yeah, because she fucking hates it.
Yeah, she hates it, but the bard wrote it because she fancies her.
That's cute.
Yeah, it's really cute. But yeah, Corypheus wants to enter the Black City again. If you believe him and his lore, which there's a sliding scale of how true everything may or may not be.
It's very difficult to say because we know Andraste and that is actually real because we had that encounter in Origins.
Yeah, Andraste is a weird one where the person was real.
Yeah.
The things that happened, but we don't know why.
But their sacred ashes do what it says on the tin. It heals illnesses, even mysterious ones. Yeah, so it's it's such a weird thing where we've got these confirmed religious figures with confirmed miracles to a certain degree, but everything's still wishy-washy.
Yeah, like there's a potential that she was some kind of mage who had subconscious control over the Darkspawn. And if you look at the time that certain I think she was born the year that Dumat was killed.
Okay.
And that was the first archdemon, I believe. So yeah, she was born the year that he was killed, which kind of implies that she had Dumat's soul.
Yeah, so the sort of thing they did with Morrigan's kid and the last archdemon.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the way that Flemeth knows about this ritual, passes it on to Morrigan, is because she's seen it happen before.
Okay.
And she's seen it happen by accident, and she knows how to make it happen by not accident. You put someone who's got some taint, i.e., a Grey Warden, to work doing the deed and like creating a new baby. Whereas the ritual was done by accident the first time. Now they can do the ritual on purpose.
Okay.
And a lot of the things.
What's Flerus' real name again? It's like Mirafari or something, isn't it?
Mythal.
Mythal. I think Mirafari is the one from fucking Warhammer.
Marathari is Meryl's keeper. Keeper Marathari. Maybe
that's what I'm thinking of then. Oh well, doesn't matter. I was just like, yeah, she's some weird elven god, isn't she?
Yeah. You're thinking of Marathi from Warhammer.
They all sound the same.
Yeah, they're all elf names. But yeah, she's the elven god of don't know what. I can't remember. Just as Fenharel is also one. When she's dying at the end, because this is what happens, she is cradled by Solus.
And turns to stone.
And she goes, Fenharel, it's up to you now, or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's when you learn that all this time Solus has been the Dread Wolf. And then they double down on that in the DLC.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting having a former party member be the outright antagonist of the next game.
Yeah.
If we ever see it.
Well, here's the thing. Apparently, it's halfway through its development cycle, and they're expecting it to be out within 18 months.
Bollocks. I want to believe
you. Big, apparently. It's a very big apparently, but apparently it's, well, double apparently. It's enough news to make an article out of it.
Or it's clickbait.
Yeah.
Because while that's news, it also doesn't tell you fuck all, so therefore it's not really news.
No. Now here's the thing: I really enjoy the cultural implications of things, of places that we've never been. So like Tevinter and Parvolan for the Canary. So I really would like to go to one or the other, or even maybe both.
I want to go Antiva.
Yeah, we might just have a tour de force of everywhere we've not been, and then it's just like draw a line under it. But we don't know.
I don't think we're going to get anything new and interesting, if I'm honest.
Yeah, like half of Inquisition was just going back to Ferelden, but with a new UI.
Sometimes Orlais, which is just Ferelden
Oh yeah,
again.
it was basic. Yeah, Ferelden used to be part of Orlais for a certain amount of time before they won their independence again. Which is why even Orlesians sometimes just speak with a British accent rather than a French one, because they used to be the same country.
Well, I believe the French accent is just the fucking nobles of Orlais anyway.
Yeah. The stupid one's wearing a mask, and they're wearing it on the wrong side of their faces, the top side.
Don't worry about it. So we've got like 2 things left to talk about of the main story before going on to DLC. So should we crack those out?
Sure. Black City, Red Lyrium. There is the. I remember there's the temple.
It's before the temple.
Okay, what are you talking? What are you thinking before the temple?
We've got the ball.
Oh yeah, you get to choose who gets to be the Emperor of Orlais from the current Empress, her backstabbing cousin, or her former handmaiden, or a combination of all three.
So we've got Duke Gaspard and we've got Briala.
Yep. So technically the golden ending is to uncover enough plots that you can drop them all in the shit in front of everyone and say, you're all being idiots, shake hands and get along, or I'm burning this country to the ground.
It's actually the worst option in the long run. It's the best option in game from your current perspective, but when you get to the epilogue, they straight up say, by the way, motherfucker, Selene still sits on the throne, but she's got problems everywhere.
Yeah, this peace will not last.
And I think it's specifically, what's Aemon's brother name? Tegan. Tegan fucking is like the representative for Elden for that meeting, and he just goes, you fucked this up, man.
Yeah. You can rekindle the romance between the Empress and Briala. So you got them two just on the throne together. And you just put Gaspard to the death, which is kind of like the second best option, maybe, except she still treats Briala as a piece of property at that point. So that's kind of the reason that they broke up.
Well, bear in mind that there are atrocities committed against alienage elves was a big sticking point between their relationship.
Yeah.
I think Sarah even makes a point of saying, like, oh yeah, Selene gets to keep her pretty arse on the throne, but she still dicks over elves.
Yep. But yeah, that might be the generally best way to resolve it and actually have some form of progress. And Gaspard is probably the worst one, even though he's good for you in the short term.
In the short term, Gaspard is the best option because of his military experience.
Yeah.
However, in the long term, he is not a good emperor.
Yeah. You need a leader right now, and then Orlais doesn't have an emperor. They have a general.
Also, you got to be pretty fucking evil to do the Gaspard thing, because you uncover the plot, you know what's going to happen, and you get to the point where you're like, oh, Selene's in danger, and the 2 options are wait 5 minutes for Selene to get murdered and then deal with it, or save Selene.
Yeah.
So, literally, if you want Gaspard in charge, you have to be evil.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And that entire thing, apart from a few little sections, is completely non-combat. You have to actually go around uncovering things, basically playing it a little bit like a visual novel.
No, not true at all. There is quite a lot of combat in that section.
Okay, but it's like you go into a courtyard and some assassins drop down. The vast majority of it is going from A to B, talking to people,
I don't
finding
know.
shit
I'd
out.
say it's a 50-50 split. It feels like a D&D session where the DM couldn't decide what type of session he wanted.
Yeah, but compared to normally where it's like 95% combat and 5% just getting on your horse and exploring, it's a lot more interactive than most things in the game.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like how there is only like two people in the no, sorry, there's only one person in the party who's a crap option to take, at least socially speaking.
Is it Sarah?
Yeah. Like, I think I think her name is My Balls Itch or something, but in a
yeah. Yeah, she gives a name that someone has to read out when announcing people. It's something like Betty Swallocks or something.
Yeah. And the only reason
They
I
do
say
Betty Swallocks.
maybe so. The only reason I say one instead of two is because like Cole's also not a great pick, but Cole doesn't get introduced. He just immediately does his fucking Cole spooky ghost shit and fucks off.
Yeah, like Cole's actually an interesting person to have for that in theory, because he could tell you exactly how everyone is feeling.
Yeah, however, in execution, he just stays in a library and goes, I don't like it.
Yeah. So, really good theory, terrible practice.
Yeah.
I think I brought Blackwall, and he just stood around like eating cocktail sausages.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, Blackwall's probably bricking it because, you know, All-Asian Ball is Thomas Rainier.
Yeah. Oh yeah, here's the thing. At the end of the Grey Warden bit, you can exile all the Grey Wardens.
Yeah.
And if you do that, Blackwall says, "Oh, I respectfully ask to remain in your party." And on my asshole file, I went, "No, Grey Wardens means Grey Wardens." And you can exile him as well. Like, for a lot of my asshole file things, if I knew there was a way to get rid of someone after recruiting them, I recruited them. Otherwise, I just told them no at the beginning.
I don't know how you derive joy from that type of playthrough, but fair enough.
Yeah.
The two characters that surprised me the most, and it probably shouldn't have really, but it did, was Varric and Iron Bull.
Yeah, Iron Bull is a very good one for that because, like, he just shows his chops as to how good he is as a spy in that he can blend in as someone at a party like that without actually, like, turning too many heads.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Bull is one. I think I brought Bull as well. Like, I think I brought two warriors because two warriors is good. And like some rogue or other. It was probably Sarah because it was funny.
Mm-hmm. But with Varric, he's not as helpful as he can be because he is immediately swamped by nobles asking him about his books.
Yeah. Good old Hard in Hightown.
It's
but not Hard in Hightown 2.
Yeah, that was written by Worthy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was written by someone else, and like part one of his quests is basically legal action. It's the other one's shit.
And one of my favourite ones as well is like they get the most recent volume of Hard in Hightown, or most recent chapter, which is like chapter 32 in the Fade, in the epilogue. And Varric just goes, huh. He really doesn't know what to make of it.
So it's basically written by his subconscious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's written by either him in the future or already in his mind, and it's so weird.
Yeah. But yeah, the last thing after the ball is the temple, which has actual ancient elves who actually have the ancient elven culture.
Boy is Solus salty if you don't bring him to this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, before this, Morrigan comes back.
Yeah, and boy, do I love how Morrigan is a very... If you romanced her in Dragon Age Origins, she does not even, despite being separated from you physically, she isn't separated from you in any other sense of the word.
Yeah, like spiritually, like you're still together. You've still got if you did the ritual, you've got what is his name, Ethan?
I don't fucking know. I don't care about the child.
Yeah, you got the Earthemiel child anyway. If you didn't do the ritual and still had the child, then the child is all that Morrigan has to remember your player character by.
Yeah, but I still don't know why you would have the ritual. Sorry, why you would, have that last night of passion but not do the ritual as well. It's literally just, we were going to do this anyway, but now it has the benefit of saving your life.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where there's an actual world, there's possible world state in which that doesn't happen. So
it just baffles my mind.
I think she actually first shows up at the ball as well, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's at the ball. That's where you encounter her,
and she cleans up real nice.
Because you suspect that she might actually be involved in the plot, and then when you realise it's Morrigan, you're like, as a player, you're like, oh, it's not her. But in character, you're like, you're an apostate. You have so much motivation.
Yeah.
Vivienne really doesn't like her.
No, she doesn't. It's great. And then she comes back to your house.
Yeah.
She hunkers down with you, and she basically comes along for the temple run.
Yeah.
She's not in the party, but she's tagging along.
Well, it's like in a lot of the late game dungeons in FF14. We've got Astinian and fucking Tiamat fucking killing dudes on your behalf on the outer skirts of the battle.
Yeah, beyond the map, where they get to show that they're being badasses elsewhere.
Well, they even do it in the map. Like, there's enemies on the screen, and then Astinian jumps down and kills like 3 of them, and then there's like 3 left that charge your group. It's a decent way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cute. And this is the one where you get to allow Morrigan to learn how to turn into a dragon or not.
Yeah. If you don't have Morrigan with you, then Flemeth just does it.
Yeah. And yeah, this is I think this is actually the last thing I tried to do, because I just lost interest and never actually finished it. So apologies. I've seen videos of fighting Corypheus, and it looks really anticlimactic.
Oh, it's really not an interesting fight. The most interesting part is afterwards when you get to chat to your mates.
Yeah. You chat to your mates. You get the epilogues where it gives you the little bit of post game time skip saying where are they now. But yeah, that's. Anything else about the temple run?
Boring. Like, I don't know. The game really sort of slips up around. Like, the ball was like the highlight of the second half of the game, and then everything else was kind of just there.
Yeah. It was something to complete.
And the weird thing is it comes back up again during the DLCs, because the DLCs are fine.
Yeah. I think I own all the DLCs because I've got the gold edition for the PC, but I've not played the PC version since I got it for like £3.
All the DLCs are great. I think the 3 DLCs combined are better than the base game. Obviously, there's parts of the base game that stand out, and you're like, no, that's a top moment. That's pretty good. However, I think the Descent DLC is probably the weakest of the 3, because we've kind of done that shit before. Yeah,
exactly. I thought that's the one that everyone's going to see as the weakest, because it's just the deep roads again.
Like, Jaws of Hakkon is also kind of dull in the scenery, but the story is interesting enough to keep me hooked.
Yeah, you get more Avar stuff. Oh man, that's another fun thing in the early game when you first get to Skyhold. After you do like this one normal basic side quest to kill a guy out in the swamp that was like an Avar chieftain.
I mean, it's not a basic side quest. It's basically the entire quest for that zone.
Yeah, his father comes to your house and says he launches a goat at Skyhold, and he's accused of launching a goat as a aggressive act. So they bring him in with handcuffs, and he says, "Yeah, you got rid of my idiot son. My culture requires that I launch livestock at you as a challenge, and the one thing that I chose to do, which I think is the correct answer, is I exile you to Tevinter with as many weapons and supplies as you can carry." And he goes, my idiot son finally did something right for us.
My favourite thing about that is, like, it doesn't pay off until really late in the game. You get a war table mission with Tevinter sending you a complaint, someone brings a letter to your attention saying, okay, it was funny at first, but the Avar are causing a real problem for Tevinter, and we don't want this to blow back on us. One of the options you can take is Josephine's, which she basically sends a bullshit letter saying, oh, do you not like our reinforcements to fight the Kunari? And you get a letter back saying, fuck. The Avar tribesmen just stay up there.
Yeah.
I think one of the exact lines as well the dude says is, a red-headed mother guarantees a brat.
Well, because here's the thing. Andraste was a redhead and she was an Avar.
Oh, fair enough. I might be right then.
Yeah. But yeah, there's what was the other one? Oh yeah, when we played the Dragon Age tabletop game.
Oh yes.
One of our party members was an Avar barbarian tribesman, and he was Lord the Mighty, and he was very interesting in that he was pretty much the average barbarian that would use muscles first and brain as a last resort, because everyone else was a party member for that.
Which is so funny to me, because one of the most iconic barbarians ever is Conan the Barbarian, and they make it
smart.
Yeah, they make it a point in pretty much every comic I've read that Conan's all right. He's not a genius, but he's not fucking stupid.
He's not educated, but he's very canny.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and as far as I'm aware, he doesn't. Does he not introduce himself as a barbarian at all either? He introduces himself as a thief.
I couldn't tell you that one. Most of the stories I've read, Conan is already established. If you meet Conan, you know who the fuck you're talking to.
Yeah. The precursor to He-Man.
I mean, he probably most likely introduces himself as Conan of blank, and the blank is insert tribe name.
Yeah. Or even just of Hyboria, which is the world that it's in.
I mean, why would he say of the world when that's the only world?
Well, it might be like the country or the continent or whatever. So if he goes on a big old tour de force, then I don't know. I'm spitballing. I've never read Conan.
Have you never seen the films?
No, but I have seen some of the quotes, like the to see your foe driven before you and hear the lamentations of the women.
Yeah, that's what's the meaning of life.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you've not seen any of the films, I'd recommend the Jason Momoa remake.
Okay.
That's a pretty decent one.
I didn't even know there was one.
Yeah, it's fairly recent. I say fairly recent. I think it was like 2011. That's 10 years ago.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Jason Momoa is Conan, and I think he does an alright job at it. I'm surprised it didn't get a sequel.
Yeah, fair enough.
We've waffled a bit.
Yeah, the DLC, we got the Jaws of Hakon, which is the Avar one. We've got the Descent, which is the Deep Roads again, but it's the one that tells us that Titan blood is lyrium.
Yeah, don't really care for that one.
And you got the Fen Harel one, which is the actual ending.
It also introduces a bunch of challenge modes, a bunch of challenge options you can tick in the settings menu.
Okay.
One of them is like fickle, which makes the party members respond more dramatically, basically, to your decisions. And if you get to a low enough score, they will just quit.
Sure. So it's like an influence multiplier. So whenever you get like a +5 or a -3, then you get like a ×10 multiplier to it or something.
I assume that's how it works. I've never ticked it. I don't want my party members to fuck off.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah,
especially since Vivian's going to disapprove with everything you do.
Oh yeah, Vivian is so easy to fucking piss off. Yeah, like you said, this is the epilogue DLC. It's very closely patterned after the Citadel DLC in that it's like a tour de force. However, this has actually got a actual endgame plot as opposed to Citadel, which was a bullshit plot to facilitate fan moments.
Yeah, it draws a line under the Inquisitor as well, because your arm is getting worse.
You're dying.
Yeah, you're dying of arm cancer, and you need it sorting out. And one of the ways that you can get it sorted out is you get the arm removed.
I mean, that's the only way you can get it sorted out. No matter how you treated Solus and how good of a friend you are with him, it will always end the same. It's very interesting. Have you seen how they deal with it if your Inquisitor is straight lace and to the point?
I haven't.
You get the final confrontation is always a one-on-one. Your Inquisitor and Solus is done up in his Dread Wolf gear. He looks very cool.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does.
And you basically have a conversation with him about what's going to happen. And if you're fairly friendly with Solus, which you can be, even if you don't agree with him 100%, you can still be on friendly terms. You have a really in-depth chat before he goes, I'm going to do you a favor because we're friends, and I'm going to rid you of this. However, it's not entirely for your benefit. It gives me the thing I need, and I'm going to do what I've laid out that I'm going to do. So that's why Solus is going to be the big bad in the next game.
Yeah.
However,
or a big bad.
I think he's going to be the be-all, end-all, unless because he's a god. He can't get bigger than a god, but I digress. We can just talk about that in a minute. If you're always to the point, or gruff, or basically butt heads with Solus all the time, you don't get a conversation. Solus just goes, I don't like you. You don't talk to me very often. You're blah, 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 blah. Let's get this over with. And then he just takes your arm. And he just says, you'll live, and then fucks off.
Reminds me of fucking Piccolo. Just chopping his arm off.
It's not like a physical cut, though. It's literally like, it literally just like disintegrates fucking Thanos style.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah. So yeah. Solus is Fen Harel. He's the one that erected the veil, split the real world from the spirit realm, imprisoned the Forgotten Ones beyond the veil, which is why there is the veil and the and everything. Tricked the elven gods, who may or may not be the Tevinter gods, into going to sleep underground. And most of them are just sleeping forever and will become Darkspawn eventually, no matter what, because a Darkspawn will touch them and make them tainted.
Mm.
And the Darkspawn are driven to do that.
Yep. I don't really want to dwell on it much longer, seeing as you've not played the DLCs, but maybe in the future we'll do another retro that just focuses on the Inquisition DLCs. Suffice to say, the epilogue one is a very fun one. I think it's a standout, but it has to be. It's wrapping up the story and setting up the next. Which, by the way, is a fuck thing that BioWare likes to do.
Yeah. The worst thing was that the next Dragon Age was meant to be a lot sooner than now.
Well, case in point, Dragon Age Inquisition came out very early on the PS4 days. We're now like a year plus into the PS5.
Yeah, we are. We're like close to a year and a half now.
I really don't know. Time has lost all meaning.
Well, time definitely loses all meaning when you're trapped inside. But yeah, the last thing they do is whack a dagger in Tevinter on the map, just teasing that Tevinter might be the next place that someone goes to. It might be the player, might be the Inquisition. The Inquisition might get there before the player and turn up to be the new Team Rocket of the next game.
Yeah, Inquisitor is definitely going to be a character going forward, and if you're friends with Sarah, the epilogue implies that you get a cool fucking crossbow attached to where your armwood was.
That was originally a design choice for Iron Bull, and they decided not to.
That's fair. It'd be a bit weird.
Yeah, they were going to give him an arm cannon, like an actual cannon, and then just have him one-hander, two-hander.
To be fair, that is just guts.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, it would have been cool, though.
Would have been cool. It makes sense. Kunari have black powder.
Yeah, they are. They're like the ones that do have it.
Like going back to the Bulls Chargers, there is that dwarf who goes, "I'm this close to perfecting Gatlock," and
Bull's like, "No, you're not."
No, it's better than that. He's like, "You really aren't." Oh, jeez. But yeah, shall we wind down?
Yeah, let's shall. So we normally like to talk about our final three. Do you have a favourite moment
Romancing the shit out of a buff warrior woman known as Cassandra.
Yeah, I'll stick with that. I'll stick with that. I'm happy with that.
It's not quite a visual novel or an eroge, but damn, it gives me the fuzzies.
Plus the fact that you can fight alongside her as well. Like I always say that the player character and playable squad mates are more fulfilling romances because you get to be with them more often.
I absolutely agree. I feel like if your romance option is part of the party, it just feels more organic.
Yeah, like I can understand wanting to come home to someone like
Josephine or Cullen.
Yeah, like Josephine, like Cullen, like Liliana if she was an option, for instance. But like, yeah, it just because you get to have banter with people on the road, it's just better. And also, they can banter with each other about you.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
think it even started with Morrigan and
yeah, because Alistair is really weird about it.
yeah. Wynne and Morrigan talk about like, are you? Wynne just goes, "Do you realize that he exists above the waist?" And Morrigan's like, "Huh? What?" He's just been staring at you cockly the entire time. It's great.
Probably your buttocks, to be honest, but
well, yeah.
well, considering how the party walks, I'm just saying. One of my favorites is, I think it's Sarah who just goes, "Oh, I bet you've got all of your underwear has your name on it," to Cassandra. No, wait, it's when Cassandra says she has like 700 names after the ball, and it's just like, how do you fit all that on your underwear? And she just goes, perhaps I don't wear underwear. And Sarah just goes, no. Does she? And immediately she just goes, you will not answer that to the Inquisitor.
I think that's something that can actually happen whether or not you're romancing. And if you are romancing, you just get that extra one of, don't answer that.
yeah, maybe so. Like, the game is very good at that sort of thing. But we won't linger on that too much longer, as much as we want to. I'm going to have to throw it back. Rick, favourite moment?
Like, normally I would just say that the Lore Dump epilogue is my favourite, but my actual favourite is a Talvashoth Iron Bull telling the Vidasala to go fuck herself.
It's great because he does it in such a formal way as well.
Yeah. I respectfully will tell you to go fuck yourself, basically.
Like, he calls her ma'am and everything. Like, he's got nothing but respect for her position, but still tells her to screw herself. It's a bit like... this is the worst fucking analogy ever, but it's a bit like Peridot and Yellow Diamond.
Yeah. I can absolutely say that there are things worth protecting, you clod.
Would you not pay... I hope that fucking voice actor is on, like, one of those guest things where you pay 40 quid for a voice message. I would love to get them to say that in Iron Bull's voice. Oh, jeez.
That is my favourite moment. And I've only seen it in YouTube form because I've not played that DLC, but still, it's the thing that would make me go back and revert my pro Kunari choice and go pro Chargers.
Yep.
But yeah, we can't always talk about the good. Sometimes we have to talk about the bad. Do you have a weakest link?
There is a big chunk in the middle of the game and at the tail end where everything's just kind of whelming.
Yeah.
It falls a bit short. The game starts on such a high, and basically the moment you get to Skyhold, it's like, this is cool. The story kind of takes a hit. Like Adamant with the Grey Wardens and the Ball, they're great moments. There's a lot of side quests and extra bullshit that is just padding. That's all it is. And that's fine. It's an RPG. RPGs have padding, but it's boring. And from the Elf Fortress onwards, it's just like, this is stuff you have to do.
Yeah, this is stuff you have to do to just tick the boxes and complete the game.
Yeah.
And yeah, I totally agree. Like, there's a lot of things like is it the Emerald Glades they call it? The bit in Ole that's got the big old mansion and one of the dragons is there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that entire area just felt like filler.
A lot of Orlesian areas feel like it, because you got the other one as well, which is like Empress de Leon.
Yeah.
Actually, that one might not be. That might be the one with the demon Imshell, but there is another area which has battlements and Daily shells and stuff, and there's a lot of ghouls walking around, and it's just filler after filler.
Call me Imshale.
Name of the captain from
Moby Dick.
Yeah, Moby Dick. There you go.
I think that was Ishmael, but yeah, basically the same thing, but with some of the letters switched around.
It's also the name of one of the either made up or real people on Blackbeard's crew who shows up in Treasure Island.
Okay.
Just saying.
I believe that.
There's a character called Ishmael or Imshell in Treasure Island whose backstory is before he joined the Rorus and Long John's crew, he was part of Blackbeard's.
Okay. Fair enough.
He may or may not have been a real person, but that's neither here nor there. I should probably throw it back and ask you what your weakest link is, sir.
Well, there's part of the same thing that I even said. I didn't even finish the game because by the time it gets to the end, I kind of lost interest. But the actual weakest link for me is the fact that it's taken so long for us to get any actual concrete news about the actual sequel. We're about, 10 years away?
It feels
10
like
years in between?
It's a long-ass time, so much so that I'm going to Google it.
Yeah. Yeah, so the amount of time in between, the fact that the original Dragon Age 4 was cancelled when it was already, partway through development. I don't know how many of those ideas are going to get recycled for the rebooted Dragon Age 4, as it were.
2014.
Okay, so 8 years.
7.5, technically, because it was November, but yeah.
Yeah. It's a fair fucking while.
That's longer than any gap between a Persona game. Let that sink in.
Oh, boy.
Well, I think it might be, actually. I think Persona 4 and Persona 8... Persona
8?
Persona 4 and Persona 5 was quite a gap. There was a whole console in between.
Yeah, there was. There might have been a big gap between Persona 1 and 3. Sorry, Persona 2 and 3 as well.
Now you're fucking doing it, motherfucker.
Neither of us can fucking count today.
Oh, we've turned into Gura.
1, 2, 5.
Where's the rest of them?
5 times 5 is 35.
How the fuck did she do that one? 5 times 5 is 35.
Because they rhyme.
So does 5 times 5 is 25. It's the same fucking rhyme.
I know.
It's not a rhyme, it's the same fucking word. You can't rhyme a word with itself, Gura.
Yeah. It's like go homer, pretend this is baseball and here's a homer. And the only reason that they rhyme and without being the same word is that one of them's got a capital letter. But yeah. We're going to get into the last bit. Who is your MVP?
Oh, fucking hell. Whoever said they should bring back the epilogue slides.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. I feel it.
I struggle to give an MVP award to an individual character, and honestly, as much as the development was great, the only reason the game came out is because I forgot the fucker's name. But they call it the BioWare magic, but the BioWare magic is just crunch upon crunch upon crunch, which sucks.
Yeah. It might have been Casey Hudson, but he might have been... Well, I can Google it, but yeah, I think it might be Casey Hudson. But yeah, the BioWare magic and epilogue slides is where they tell but don't quite show. But you still get... Because they can tell and they can make multiple slides for the same characters and the same combination of characters... There are multiple different options that get represented well in these ending slides.
Yeah, absolutely. So, with that out of the way, we're nearly done, Rick. Who is your MVP?
I'm going to say it's going to be Cassandra this time round. Because she is the one that declares the Inquisition.
Mm.
And she holds the party together pretty well. Even though you've got your non-combatant army managers, they all kind of answer to Cassandra in a way. So, and even though she puts you above her in terms of you're the Inquisitor, you're the one in control, I'll follow you to the ends of the earth, you still kind of respect her, and you normally, well, most players are going to respect Cassandra's thoughts, hopes, dreams, and advice. So I think she serves a much better role in this than she did in 2.
While I'm certainly biased because I adore her character, uh, she does seem the most fair.
Sure.
But you have to get past a certain level of defenses.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like, on the surface, she has to be all of these things, but underneath, she has these other opinions that don't necessarily line up with the image she's projecting.
Yeah. And it's one of those, I wanted to give it to the Inquisitor, but without Cassandra's meddling, the Inquisitor has no power whatsoever.
No, God, no.
Like, they're a prisoner, they're essentially a heretic. Half the time they're an apostate. Like, yeah, they're not a free person without Cassandra basically saying, leave this one alone, dickhead, on a global scale.
I think the only time you can be a mage and not an apostate is if you're a human male. Human noble in general. A human mage is basically not an apostate. But like
Sure.
they are by the legal definition because there's no circles anymore. But by the fact that they showed up to the conclave implies that actually they don't really want to be in that role.
Sure. The elf mage possibly is in a bit of a grey area. Like, you can say that you're a keeper, and that's kind of like, yeah, we understand that you've got a lot of culture and that you actually care about not killing everybody.
By Cassandra's standards, a keeper is still an apostate.
Yeah. They're a non-circle mage who lives out in the wilds and is basically no better than a witch like Morrigan.
Absolutely. And the Kunari is 100% an apostate because they're in a mercenary band.
Yeah, and they're even the Kunari really hates them because if a Kunari sees a mage growing up in Parvolan, they cut their tongue out.
Yeah, lovely, isn't it?
Call them Saribas, which means dangerous thing.
And they also cutting out their tongue doesn't remove their ability to use magic. It's just being a dick. Because we encounter a couple of Sarabas in Dragon Age 2, and they're still very magical.
Yeah. Like, the most magical thing they can do is let themselves be possessed. And that's very easy to do when you've got nothing much else to live for.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much all we got to talk about today. So, if you liked the episode, you got the comment section down below on YouTube. If you're listening to us on one of the audio platforms, you have the email, which is
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that is nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Thanks for the thumbs up. I really needed it.
Yeah, you did. Good boy. Love you, buddy.
Oh, fuck off. Yeah, goodbye.
Yeah. So it's going to be goodbye from me.
And it's going to be a goodbye from me. Don't forget to keep yourself safe and keep yourself happy, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.